This is the Freeheel Life Podcast, episode number 171. I'm your host, Josh Madsen, coming at you from the Freeheel Life shop in Salt Lake City, Utah. And welcome back after World Telemark Day that went down this past Saturday, everybody. And I hope you had a fantastic weekend, dropping knees with your friends, wherever you may be out in the world. I know I had a great time, and we're going to be talking about that specifically today, but wanted to go over a couple newsroom and notes just to get us rolling before we get to the main part of the episode. So starting today, we're moving it into a little bit different shop schedule in the retail store. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday will be open noon until 7, closed Saturdays now, as well as the other days. So just as we're starting to kind of trim hours as we head into the spring months, although it doesn't feel like spring some days, it's still dumping outside. But we're going to be sort of heading into that spring mode. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, noon until 7 p.m., you can come to the retail shop in Salt Lake City, or you can always reach us via email at customerservice@freeheellife.com. And we usually try to get back to you within 48 hours. So even on those off days, we'll be working to keep up on stuff. A couple events happening this weekend. We've got Scufinata over in the Dolomites of Italy, March 10 through 12. If you are over in that area, I highly recommend it. Every time I bring it up, I am always a big supporter of Scufinata. The Scufons is a Telemark club in that area of Moena, and it is a fantastic place to go enjoy some nice Telemark skiing, some good food, some good beverages, and the Super Dolomiti Pass that you can get. You can ski all sorts of different areas in that zone. So I highly recommend it. Also, Saturday, March 11th, Mad River Glen in Vermont, the Freeheel Frolic is happening, put on by my friend Wendy Bridgewater. And she was a long time employee, I guess, I don't know what you'd call it, of NATO. So she worked with Dickie Hall for many, many years with the NATO festival instruction and all of that. And this is, I believe, her second year doing the Freeheel Frolic at Mad River Glen. And I'm excited especially about this one because I'm going to be giving a gear talk via Zoom at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, March 11th. For those that are in attendance, and I'll be tuning in from Freeheel Life because since it's a gear talk, I figured having access to all the gear would be good. So if you are up in New England and you're going to be going to that event, we'll be seeing each other on Zoom on Saturday evening, and I'm looking forward to that as well. And I did want to mention if there are other events, most likely next season, and maybe you would like to do something similar, you can reach out to me at podcast@freeheellife.com. And I'm always interested in getting involved with Telemark events out there with Freeheel Life and what we're doing. And I always like to talk about gear and Telemark skiing in general. So hit me up if you have any interest in that as we start planning next season, and be happy to chat it up about that. March 18th, Sun Valley, Idaho, Hawaiian Nationals. Bumping it up a little bit in the season, which I think is going to be a great time. Sun Valley Tele's been getting after it, putting on lots of events this year and helping spread Telemark all over Idaho at various resorts. They were at Rotorun at Rotorun Ski Area, celebrating World Telemark Day this past Saturday, and they will be having Hawaiian Nationals here coming up. So if you're in the Idaho area, highly recommend checking them out to see what events they have not only this year, but maybe you're becoming familiar with some of these events going on in Idaho. I know they did something down at Bogus Basin outside of Boise. Like I said, Rotor Run, Sun Valley, and obviously any of the Idaho events up in that zone. They are fantastic people to connect with, and we always enjoy promoting those events. So Hawaiian Nationals wrapping it up. If there are any more events after that you have scheduled and you can get a hold of me this week, I would love to get them in the rotation for the newsroom and notes section of the podcast. Hit me up at podcast@freeheellife.com, and I'm more than happy to give it a shout out and some details of the location. And I think that'll be a great way as we start wrapping up the last couple podcasts of the season. I'm going to be finishing up, I believe it's April 3rd, which is the first Monday of the month, will be the last podcast of the season. I'm going to take a little sabbatical over the summer, do some preparation for podcasts in the upcoming fall and winter months, and really looking forward to that. So I will miss all of you. I hope you know that. I truly enjoy doing the podcast every week, and I think this will give me some time to do some preparation, as well as find some awesome guests. And I'm also going to be really, really trying to figure out how to do video moving into the fall, which gets just adds another element. And I've mentioned that before. I would love to have video. Obviously, it gives you the visual aspect, and there's so many things we can do with that. I just kind of need some time, and I think this summer is a great opportunity to sort of figure out some of the camera stuff that I need to figure out, audio along with video, and then just making sure I'm able to deliver that on a weekly basis, which is why I've always stuck with audio, because it's a little simpler instead of having the video portion of it. So I do appreciate all of you tuning in this many years and this many episodes. It's crazy that we're 171 episodes in, and it's been really an amazing experience to do the podcast. I really enjoy talking about the different subjects and what's going on with Freeheel Life in our world, along with all of the special guests that share their time to tell their stories about their Telemark journey and various things that they've been involved with as well. So today I wanted to basically just do a World Telemark Day 2023 debrief and just talk a little bit about it. I'm actually recording this on Sunday, which is yesterday from when you guys are hearing this. So it's fresh in my mind. We personally had an amazing day at Alta Ski Area, and want to thank them for their support here in Utah, and all of the amazing people that came to our particular event in Utah. We had Volet there with us, Scarpa was there with Boots, and then we had our tent. And 9 years into this, it's just been an amazing journey, sort of watching the organic growth of people recognizing the day, coming out and celebrating it, and then obviously having the demo there. It was so rad to see all of these new people try and telemark for the first time. I know I gave a bunch of quick lessons on the fly of how to position your feet, which foot goes forward, and then sent a ton of people on their way up the mountain. And I think there's a lot to be said for that experience. At least for me, I truly enjoy not only watching all the telemark skiers come and celebrate that are already telemark skiers, but having that little demo there is so amazing, just to see new people getting on Freeheel equipment and trying it out and sort of figuring it out as they go, and all being able to celebrate that together in one place. Truly amazing, and a lot of good feedback. I always love hearing new timer feedback as well. And it was fun to see a bunch of people get on our protector skis. That was sort of a new thing for us, is having a full lineup of protector 95s and 105s in the various sizes, and getting feedback on the skis as well. Super great. Not to mention that by the back half of the day, it was absolutely nuking snow, and it was soft, and there was fresh snow in the morning as well, but really when it started storming, just such a fantastic day to get out there. A little, coming down so hard that it's a little bit fresh, even on the groomers, and the trees were good, and it was just an all-around great time. So thank you all that came out and participated, and if you're interested, I'm sure we'll put some video up on the YouTube channel this week. I know Alta posted a couple things as well with the big group ski that we did in the afternoon, and I didn't even get a head count, but there was a lot of Telemark skiers, and sometimes when you're sitting in a tent at the bottom, it's hard to sort of get a head count, and honestly, I didn't even do that up there. But be sure to check the social media website and YouTube this week, and we'll definitely be posting some stuff up. It was a really, really special day. As far as all of you who participated in World Telemark Day 2023 out in the world, thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful that you're out there, that you're interested enough to celebrate World Telemark Day on the first Saturday in March, and be thinking enough to gather your friends. I want to thank all the marketing people at various resorts that decided to pick up the press release and the logo, and recognize the event day, but also all of the various things that some of these resorts did. And we'll talk a little bit. I'm going to try and highlight a couple of these things, but it just was really cool to see that switch on in a couple places as well. I was having a hard time even keeping up, reposting a bunch of content on our social platforms, because there was absolutely so many. And it was amazing to see people celebrating from, Norway, where Telemark skiing started, all the way to the US, Canada, Andorra, Japan, Russia, the list goes on and on. I mean, literally, that's always the funnest part for me, is to see all of these different locations sort of pop up at once, obviously on time zones. I think I realized this year the Japanese were out celebrating World Telemark Day long before we were. So it was kind of fun seeing sort of, as people woke up and started heading into the mountains, you'd see, some Instagram posts or Facebook posts of people celebrating and getting their groups together. Another great place to go check some photos out from around the world is in our Facebook forum. It's been really cool because people engaging in there and posting their little group photos, the group skis. A lot of people took that to heart and did the group shred that I talked about in last week's podcast. But I always love seeing those photos of people lined up in a group and saying, "Hey, we're here," and especially some of the ones that I was able to call out on the podcast prior to the events happening. Very, very fun to see people meeting up, somehow linking up from our Telemark Pirate radio station here, and hearing about a meetup with maybe one person, and then actually multiple people showing up and getting to go ski together and actually share some Telemark turns together. And that's absolutely what this is all about, and why I started it 9 years ago. Was we're all so spread out, but I know there's so many of us that don't even know where each other are. And I think that that's really what we can do to, days like World Telemark Day are such an amazing opportunity to sort of tighten the fabric, and realize that, hey, maybe there's some other telemark skiers that are the next town over, or the next mountain over, or maybe they're out in the backcountry and there was a good way to meet up there as well. So I'm looking forward to next year and celebrating with all of you again for the 10th annual World Telemark Day. I can't even believe that it's going to be 10 years already. That's a pretty amazing time, and I can't wait. So on that note, I was going to say I just kind of wanted to go over a couple things that sort of highlight. I mentioned the marketing departments getting involved, and just wanted to kind of mention a few things that I thought went really well this year in terms of just involvement and how people got involved and how people got creative, because I think that's one of the most important things is realizing that World Telemark Day, I've always made a press release and a logo, and then it's always kind of been up to the individual or the group or the marketing person to sort of take it from there and sort of be creative. And I think what's awesome about that is I've seen some really cool stuff, and I wanted to highlight just a couple things that I saw that I thought were cool, because I think they're things that you can be thinking of for next year's World Telemark Day for yourself in your area. And maybe even, one thing I'm considering is, if I can carve out some time for this, is actually making a little bit more of a resource guide, of these ideas sort of in one place. So, you can go download the materials easily, like the logo and the press release, but maybe have some kind of little idea starters, like, hey, I can do this or that, and maybe help those that are interested in participating and actually kind of want to fire it up in their area, but maybe you're unsure, because you really just need to get out and go telemark. But those that want to take it to the next step, and maybe have a little event, especially marketing folks or shop owners or whatnot, I think that's a really important thing. So let's talk a little bit about this. The first thing I wanted to highlight that I just thought was absolutely incredible is I think this was Friday morning prior to World Telemark Day, so a couple days ago. I get up, and and I've mentioned that up in Whiteface in New York, that there was a group called the North Country Knee Droppers. And I wanted to highlight this story, especially because here's what's so cool about this. I've emailed a couple times with some of the guys that started this group, but this group literally started with this name, North Country Knee Droppers, 1 week ago. Okay. So a couple interested, buddies that are telemark skiers, and they had already emailed me and said, hey, we're going to meet up in this, we're going to meet up for World Telemark Day. Well, this was maybe a month or two ago. And the next thing I know is they decided to come up with a name for the group, this North Country Knee Droppers. And then they've got the logo. We've corresponded. They've got the press release. They've sent me the meetup location, and I'm thinking, great, that's awesome. Well, Friday, I get up and I see, I'm going through some social media stuff to look at it, and they had tagged something on this new Instagram page they made for the group saying that they had been on the radio, and not the Telemark pirate radio, like actual radio. So it was their local public radio station. I think it's called like Northern Lights or something like that, Northern Light. I don't have it in front of me right now, but so I go look it up and listen to the podcast, and such an amazing, it was sort of this little, first off, I was showing everybody at Freeheel Life, I was like, check this out. This is amazing. You know, you got this radio personality on public radio talking about how tomorrow, Saturday, March 4th is World Telemark Day. And then they started talking to, I think it's Nathaniel. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of going off the cuff here, so I don't have everybody's names in front of me. But Cascade Welcome Center, Adirondacks, Whiteface, that zone. And it's like a 7-minute interview that, you know, I don't know who contacted who, but, you know, in some of these smaller areas where public radio is available, you know, things like that, I thought that was a really cool DIY, you know, especially if they reached out and said, hey, or maybe they had a friend at the radio station like, hey, World Telemark Day is coming up tomorrow. Do you guys want to talk about it? And I think that's a great idea. And so kudos to you, North Country knee droppers. I love it. And sometimes, you know, especially in mountain towns, a lot of times there's local news, and ski towns. They have like they've got their own TV show, radio show. I know I used to do that a lot, like in Park City when I was making Telemark movies. I don't think it's around anymore, but they had Park City Television, for instance. So it was sort of like a mountain town TV, and they had a public radio. And a lot of times they're really open to talking about community events and supporting things like that. So I don't think I've ever even mentioned any of that sort of PR style stuff that you could do with the press release or with the logo or the date in general. But I wanted to call that one out because that's definitely something, if you want to take it to the next level and really kind of get the word out, that's a great example of how you can do that. So great job. I was so fired up, and I reposted that podcast. You can check it out on our Instagram, just that little snippet. And I thought that was really amazing. So as some other examples that I saw this year that were really cool is the shops getting involved. So I know Mountain Shop up in Portland, Oregon, not Maine. You know, I had talked to the general manager there. He had visited Freeheel Life maybe a month or two before, and I saw that they were actually offering free rentals, I think, first come, first serve, that you could pick up on Friday and use on World Telemark Day. And I think from a retail shop perspective, that's a great thing you can do. Offer a discount. You could offer, you know, a free rental. There's various things you could do with that. Maybe the shop has Telemark rentals, but they want to do sort of a demo day. Obviously, if you have the resources to do that, but that's kind of like what we did. So I think there's a really great opportunity for retail shops that are passionate about Telemark, carry Telemark product, you know, and that's something we're really going to be pushing a lot moving forward. Is obviously we have our own retail shop, but one thing we're working on with Bluebird Day Gear and Freeheel Life stuff is getting into other retail shops in various areas. And that's something that we want to make more accessible to you in your zone and actually support some of these retail shops that are in your area and help get them fired up. And this is, like I said, there's a really good symbiotic relationship here with having something like World Telemark Day that gives people a reason to, one, find that local clientele, but also show that you support them as a retailer and you understand the Telemark skiers in your area. So big shout out to Mountain Shop in Portland, Oregon. I thought that was absolutely awesome and great to see that from a retail shop. And I think that goes a really long way. And actually, I will mention this. The coolest part about that is there was actually a woman that came to our demo at Alta yesterday, and I asked her, I said, hey, where are you from? And she said, I'm from Hood River, Oregon, if you're not familiar with the area, which isn't too far from Portland. And I said, hey, you ever shop at Mountain Shop? And we ended up knowing Jeremy, who Jeremy used to be at the Mountain Shop. That's kind of how I knew of the Mountain Shop. They used to help me put on my Telemark movies in that area. And I said, "Oh, that's so awesome." And I mentioned that what they were doing and their involvement with World Telemark Day. And she's here at Alta, but I think we both were just so stoked to connect on that. And now she can go home, and she obviously has shopped there before, but what a great opportunity for even me to connect with her and say, hey, they were offering free demos for World Telemark Day. And I hope that incentivizes her to go, check in with Mountain Shop next time she's in Portland. And again, this is how we grow the community, right? Like, we got to show support for one another in that sense. And that's, coming to Freeheel Life when you live in Hood River, Oregon versus going into Portland, Oregon and shopping at Mountain Shop and knowing that they can support her. And just that little reminder, like, hey, stop in there and know that they're supporting telemark skiing. That's what this is all about. So I was really, really psyched. So we kind of talked a little bit about sort of the little PR that you could do locally, especially like public radio or your local newspaper, if you still have a newspaper, or maybe an event blog or whatever. We covered the retail shop stuff. I thought that was really awesome. The last thing I wanted to cover is what I was seeing with the resorts. So the resorts this year, I really felt latched on more than I've seen in the past. And like I said, I've put a logo out in a press release, and it was kind of up to the community at large to sort of take it and do what they wanted with it, right? But I think what I saw this year that was great was more marketing departments, small resorts, larger resorts. I saw a combination in international too, not just in the US. They picked up on it. And I think that's something I'm hoping to flesh out a little bit next year and offer that resource thing, because if it's a plug and play thing for I've been a sales and marketing guy at a resort myself, and I know you're busy. And so having a plug and play event that is like a global thing is really helpful when you're doing your event planning. So if any marketing people out there are listening, that are maybe you're a telemark skier, maybe you're not. Maybe you just know you have a good telemark community in your area. Hit me up at podcast@freeheellife.com and let's start planning for next year. And I'd love to do that. A couple places that I saw that did a great job. Obviously, Alta, they did an awesome job helping us, got us on their social media with the group ski. They sent a photographer out with us and got some good photography done. And that goes such a long way, I mean, their reach is bigger than our reach. And again, we have this awesome relationship that shows, hey, we're supporting each other in these endeavors. And I think that's great. Other places I saw, I think it's Voss Resort in Norway, I believe. That was great. I saw the group ski on that. Mission Ridge outside of Wenatchee, Washington. Shout out to those guys. I was talking to their marketing director. They went a really long way to help out with that. I know up in White Pass in Washington, they had a good, I think the group Telly White Pass, but it looked like, there was some involvement with maybe the resort there as well. Let's see, Eldora got behind it. The Telly Kahlo guys, were doing something there. And the list goes on and on. So I apologize. I don't have like a list in front of me, but resorts are always looking for great events. And this is one of those events where it doesn't or shouldn't require a lot of logistics, because it's just people meeting up to ski, right? It's not like a formal event. Now, you could do a more formal event, like Mount Ashland in Ashland, Oregon, in Southern Oregon. They did a great job. They had like a clinic that is happening. Oh, and I meant to mention this in the newsroom and notes, so I'm blowing it. The Screaming Telly Lizard race is back. be sure to go check out information at Mount Ashland in Oregon. It's coming up, I believe, this weekend as well. Screamin' Telly Lizard, old school event. Didn't mean to detour too far, but I did forget to mention that Zach Kaufman, the guy that put that event on, he's got some fresh blood in there helping him organize. And I would love to see people go to that. Okay. So Mount Ashland, though, did a great job. They had like an instructional clinic, and they had people, joining up for the group ski. There's the rope tow in Homer, Alaska. They did free rides, on World Telemark Day for everybody on the rope tow, which sounds awesome. I mean, honestly, if I could go spend a day hanging out with a bunch of Telemark skiers and everybody else on the mountain cruising a rope tow, I'd do it too. I love places like that. Berkshire East, Massachusetts, I believe, Hal, shout out to him. He was doing a really great job and really got the mountain behind him. And the list goes on and on and on in terms of people that were connecting with their marketing folks. And I just really appreciate that. So I think that's the big takeaway. So those are 3 ideas, and sort of in this debrief I just wanted to bring up is people's involvement on a local level with local media, creating a local group, and then obviously getting resort involvement. These are some things that you can do to help sort of promote World Telemark Day in your area. And I think as we head into the 10th annual one, you can sort of take this podcast as sort of a reference point for the upcoming year. Now, next year, it's going to be on Saturday, March 2nd. And I am really proud of myself because I actually already have the logo made for next year. I've been telling myself this for 9 years that I was going to make the logo ahead of time by at least a year. And this is the first time I've done it in 9 years. So no last minute BS anymore. The logo is in-house. I have it. So we have the day, Saturday, March 2nd, 2024, if you can believe it. And you can reach out to me at podcast@freeheellife.com if you want some of these ideas before I can get sort of a resource center together. But let's start planning next year. And I would love to get to know more of you out there. I'm going to try to kind of go through and figure out who is where. I've got a pretty good running list of the years of who is in each zone. But if you're interested in being sort of a lead contact in your area for World Telemark Day 2024, I would love to get to know you, chat over email, maybe hop on a phone call, and sort of figure out how we can make it bigger and better in the coming year. And I think since it's fresh on our minds from this past weekend, it's a great time to sort of throw a quick email out. Let's introduce ourselves, and we can kind of develop some ideas from there. I do want to mention in this debrief that although it is smaller, September, first weekend in September, first Saturday, September 2nd, 2023, has always been established as World Telemark Day in the Southern Hemisphere. Now, obviously, being from the Northern Hemisphere, I probably don't have as much pull with everyone down there, but that is what I delegated when I started this back in 2015, because I knew, people in Chile, Argentina, all of these areas where people are skiing, Australia, New Zealand. I'm not leaving you guys out, but I would love to incorporate that weekend with people in the Southern Hemisphere as well, because obviously you're starting to head into your winter, and I would love to develop those relationships down there as well and help you promote it. Even though we're not doing as much up here, we still have the resources available to help develop that in the Southern Hemisphere. So please reach out. Again, podcast@freeheellife.com is the best way to get a hold of me direct. And that way it'll kind of reference the podcast and all that good stuff. So I wanted to mention before, that's kind of the debrief for World Telemark Day. I love you all. This was amazing. I finished it off with a great powder run. Me and Telly Tay headed up to the top of Alta, impromptu. I didn't even have my goggles. I was skiing in literally my glasses and a ball cap, and it was absolutely blasting me with snow. And we ended up meeting two other Telly people up at the top. Miles was with us as well. And we had such a blast skiing like a nearly empty mountain at that point. So World Telemark Day was absolutely amazing for me, and hopefully it was for you as well. And I can't wait till the 10th annual next year. So before I let you go, I wanted to let you know, if you're listening to the podcast right now, we're going to start promoting today. We are going to have a huge end of season sale this Friday. Okay. And we're going to be promoting it all week through all of our channels. Be sure to get on the mailing list. The link is in the show notes. If you're not on it, this is such a fantastic way for you to stay in touch with all of these events, everything going on. But especially as we start pushing towards Friday, I want you to know what we've got left in the shop, what you can expect, special deals that we're going to be running. And we're really excited about that. So be sure to stay tuned to the social media, the email list this week as we head into our end of season sale this Friday. It's going to be a good time. As always, you can check in with me if you're a social media follower. You can go to Josh Nomadson on Instagram and Facebook. I'm also in our Facebook forum under Freeheel Life, and you can chat with other Freeheel lifers, customers, other Telemark enthusiasts from around the globe, and find out what's going on. That's where we like to communicate with people that like the Facebook platform and chat there as well. If you need any help from the shop this week, hit up customer service at freeheellife.com. We appreciate your love and support. It's been an amazing season, and we got a couple podcasts left before we head into the warmer months. Thank you, all of you out there. Telemark is alive and well. I can attest to that. I know it because I saw it yesterday when the entire planet came together and went telemark skiing and dropped knees and showed that beautiful turn on snow and kept this beautiful tradition alive. So with that, I will see you next Monday. And until then, spread telemark always. See you later.